The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Leadership for Life with Gina Gardner on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Join your host, who is a multiple #1 international best-selling author, motivational speaker, empowerment and transformational leadership coach and trainer. She's the founder of Genuinely-You and has 30 years experience of helping people step into their genuine, authentic power. And now, here is Gina Gardner, your host of Leadership for Life.
Hello there, and welcome to the show today. I'm really thrilled. I've got a wonderful guest for us later on today, Masami Sato, and her work is all about the power of giving and how giving is such great business sense. Apart from morally, it's the right thing to do. Now, it's New Year's Eve. We are at the start of a very new year. 2020 has been a difficult one for pretty well everybody. And so I want to spend some time at the beginning of this show talking to you about what sort of year are you going to choose to have? How are you going to utilize what you've learned during the challenge of 2020 and use that well? Because you can think about all of the things that have gone wrong and labor the point of the stuff that's gone wrong, and how difficult it's been and the fact that we're not back to any sort of normal yet. Or you can really use that time to spend thinking time. What are your values? And for me, compassion and kindness and giving are very, very strong values. You know, when people are feeling fed up, depressed, things aren't going right, one of the things that my dad always used to say to me is, well, go do something positive for somebody else. Focus on something outside yourself rather than focusing on the stuff that's not going well for you. And I found that to be a really, really powerful way forward. Not only does it do the person that you are giving to a great deal of good, because they actually recognize that somebody really cares about them, but also it does you good too. Because when you're in that place of giving, particularly when you're not asking for anything in return, you know, that this isn't the giving where I'll give you this if you give me that, but I'll give you this because I choose to, I want to give that to you. Then you're working at a higher vibration. It makes you feel good. And it is so important as we move forward. If you are listening to this, the chances are that you are in the top few % of the world in terms of having enough to eat, a roof over your head, clean water, education, access to medical help. There are millions and millions of people in the world who don't have access to that. And it's an accident of birth which has made the difference. And it's so important that we recognize that we have choices. We can choose to ignore everything that goes on in the world and think, well, that's too big, I can't do anything about that. Or we can choose moment by moment to make a difference. And that can be on a very small scale. You know, as you're walking past somebody in the road and they look a bit fed up, just say, hi, you okay? Recognizing that we have an impact on other people, whether we are conscious of it or not. Remember, 95% of our thoughts are unconscious. And as a result of that, so are our emotions and our words and our actions. So as we go into 2020, one of the things that I'm urging you to do is to think about how you can make a constructive, positive difference. And if you think, well, you know, I'm too small, I can't do anything. Well, Masami's got something for you if you're a business owner that can make a real difference. But whether you are a business owner or you're not, whether you are a housewife or retired, Remember, you are the leader of your own life. You make decisions moment by moment, and those decisions have an impact. And so actively choosing to be kind, to be compassionate, to recognize that you can make a difference makes a huge difference to your life. Those that have listened to me before will know that I've talked about focusing on what you can do rather than what you can't. And it's one of the things that's enabled me to do as much as I have, despite the fact that I have physical challenges. I still do use a wheelchair, although I don't need to use it all the time. And it's that focus on what you can do and how you can make a positive difference that makes all the difference in the world. Because if each of us does an act of kindness every day without expecting there to be a response, a thank you, then, that energy, that caring for someone can make a difference. And I want to give you a few examples. The first is I was listening to somebody talking about the fact that they now worked with people who were threatening suicide. And one of the challenges around suicide is lots of people don't let anybody know that they're struggling until that point when they really can't cope anymore. And they feel that the only way out to stop the hurting is to commit suicide. And his work started because he was walking along a bridge in London, just expecting to go from A to B. And he noticed somebody just standing by the railings. And he just had a sense that something wasn't quite right. And he passed the guy, and then he walked back and said to the guy who was by the railings, "You all right?" And the guy didn't answer. And he said, "Are you okay?" And the guy didn't answer. And it was pretty evident that something was really wrong. And so he said to the guy, "Will you come and have a cup of coffee with me?" And there was a change in the guy who was contemplating jumping into the River Thames. And he went with the guy, went and had a cup of coffee, and it turns out that life was untenable, that he'd recently been divorced, he'd lost his job, he was contemplating losing his house, and he felt worthless. But because someone had actually noticed, somebody had said, "Are you okay?" And then waited for the answer, not waited for somebody to say, "Yes, I'm okay, I'm fine," but just waited and held the space, that he changed that guy's life. He then supported that guy, not financially, but just by listening. And the guy, that changed things forever. Later, next month, we're going to be, or February, we're going to have a different guest who does a lot of work with people who are contemplating suicide. And he was in that place himself. But, we never know other people's story. People often put on a brave front. But part of this is actually doing the kindness of noticing, doing the kindness of not rushing past, but being able to say, "Are you okay?" The other story I want to share with you is I was involved with Tony Robbins' Basket Brigade, but in the UK. Many of you may be familiar with this. And the story goes that when Tony Robbins, long before he became successful, he was really on his beam end. He had no money, and it was Thanksgiving. There was a knock at the door, and somebody was at Thanksgiving, handed him a parcel. I think it was a friend of his, and it was all of the things to make a Thanksgiving dinner. And now the Basket Brigade do that, but they do it for Christmas. And so all through the year, people who are in charge of it raise the money to buy the ingredients. And then on one Saturday, everybody piled into a school that had been hired, and they made up these beautiful baskets with everything that you needed to do for a Christmas dinner, sweets and crackers. And it was beautifully tied up with a little, with a bow and a message saying, "Merry Christmas with love from the Basket Brigade." And there were very clear rules. So they had been asked to, social services and the authorities, schools, churches and other religious places, temples and so on, had been asked to nominate families that they knew would not get a Christmas dinner, where there was a significant financial or social problem. And having made these baskets, we were allotted our addresses and we piled the car up with baskets. And the rule was you knocked on the door, and when they opened it, you just said, "This is a gift for you with love." And then you would walk away. So when people tried to thank you and give you something in return, no, it was not about what you got out of it other than the joy of giving. It was truly about giving somebody something unconditionally. Amazing day. I've done it a few times, but amazing day. Those families, the joy on their faces because somebody cared, somebody had thought about them, was truly amazing. Now, there are all sorts of schemes like this, but you don't have to be part of a scheme. And you've got to be really careful because you have to be sensitive to other people and not wanting to take charity and so on. But a third example I want to give you is of a scheme that's been started in one of the cities in London, in one of the coffee shops, where you can choose to pay for a cup of coffee and leave it behind the counter. And then they have a system where people who are homeless can come in and claim a cup of coffee. They have a bit of warmth, but more important, they have an understanding that somebody has bothered and somebody cares. As you go into 2020, be kind to other people, but be kind to yourself. Kind, not indulgent. This isn't about, well, I'll have 3 donuts instead of 1. It's not about, I'll have another drink, but it is about self-care. Because if you care for yourself, then you can care for other people. You can be more effective, more efficient. And so make this the year when you truly step into your genuine power and your genuine power of being the best version of you. And for me, that means that you are someone who is aware and wants to make a positive difference to other people. As I say, it's not actually about money, although money helps, but it is about really looking for opportunities where you can make a difference. So if there's an elderly person living in your road who doesn't have relatives, well, say hello. Go and have a cup of coffee with them if social distancing allows. Engage them in some sort of conversation where they actually feel that somebody cares. We all need somebody to care. We all need to know that we have a value in and of ourselves, and we can do that for other people and we can do it for ourselves. So I'd like to nominate 2021 as a year where we truly start to care for one another. We are all connected. And when you do something for someone else, remember that you're also doing it for you. But the intention should be about doing the kindness act without any thought of you bartering, getting something back other than the satisfaction. But as we talk to Masami after the break, one of the things I want you to recognize, if you're a business leader, whilst the intention is to make a positive difference, it actually makes huge business sense too. And so when we come back after the break, I'm going to be so delighted to invite Masami Sato to talk about her organization, B1G1, how it started, what it's doing, and how you can get involved. So I'll see you after the break.
You have been listening to Gina Gardner on Leadership for Life. We'll be back after this quick break. Want to get the best out of life personally and professionally? Are you ready to step into a life which excites and fulfills you? Well, the right place for you is Leadership for Life with Gina Gardner on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. We will share with you stories from inspiring people, a wide range of guest experts, and lots of practical strategies to help you get the very best out of your personal and professional life. Leadership for Life is a radio and TV show focused on helping you live a happier, more successful, and fulfilling life. Join international best-selling author, motivational speaker, empowerment and transformational leadership coach and trainer, Gina Gardner, live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Become the leader of your own life. Gina Gardner's #1 international best-selling book, Thriving Not Surviving, The 5 Secret Pathways to Happiness, Success, and Fulfillment, provides you with the foundational principles on which to become the best leader of your own life. It's available as an ebook, paperback, hardback, and as an audio from genuinely-u.com, or also from Amazon. Every one of the principles have been proven to work for the countless people who have used them, including the author. Now, let's put them to work for you. If you're ready to discover your true leadership life design, accelerate your journey with an invitation to join Gina for a Leadership for Life VIP Day. Choose your journey of self-discovery where Gina will help you navigate your way to happiness, success, and fulfillment. To find out more, email Gina at genuinely-u.com. Welcome back to Leadership for Life. Here is your host, Gina Gardner.
Hello there. Very thrilled to be able to introduce Masami Sato. She's an amazing woman with an amazing, amazing purpose in life. So let me read you her bio. Masami is the founder and CEO of B1G1, a social enterprise and a B corporation based in Singapore. B1G1, also known as Buy One, Give One, helps businesses around the world integrate effective giving in what they do. Today, B1G1 works with more than 2,500 businesses, and these businesses have created over 200 million giving impacts to date together. Masami has a diverse business background. She's spoken as a TEDx speaker twice and is the author of 4 books. She's also a mother of 2 teenage children. Her work originates in the belief that businesses with a real sense of purpose can make a real difference in the world. And I heard about Masami through an organization that I work with, and you heard Jill Tiney on Christmas Eve, and she was talking about collaboration. And part of the collaboration was to be part of B1G1. And now Genuinely You is also part of B1G1. So without more ado, I'd like to introduce you to Masami Sato. Welcome. So pleased to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Gina.
Hi.
Great to be here.
Thank you. So would you share your story? Because it's one that is so inspiring. People don't know you. Now's your chance to let them know you, and then we'll talk about your business.
Well, you gave me a very good introduction already. So B1G1 is my organization, which I founded in 2007. So a little bit of background of B1G1 is that, I was an entrepreneur since 2001. And at that time, when I first started my own business, which was a food company I started, I had an idea that with the business I was running, I wanted to make a difference. So I set out to start this food company with a 3-month-old baby on my back. And as a result of working really, really hard for about 5-6 years, there was this realization that I experienced that even though, I started my business with the intention to make a difference on the day-to-day business, I was being so busy. And I felt that the idea to make a difference, such as that I wanted to give the profit from my business to, one day set up a food kitchen to feed and educate street children, that goal was kind of moving forward with me. And I was not being able to make that difference I wanted to make. So the simple idea of B1G1 came to me at that time. And I imagined a world where everything businesses would do makes a difference. So in my company at that time, instead of trying to make a big impact in the future, I thought, what if we gave just one meal for every meal we sold from our company? And then when we implemented that idea, everything transformed for me because I was no longer trying to do big thing one day, but I was able to make a tangible impact through every transaction from our own company. So that idea of B1J1 took me to really understand that there are so many business owners, business people out there who started their own companies with great intention to do something, but then end up being too busy and then not being able to make the positive impact they wanted to create in the world. So we founded B1J1 in 2007 after I sold my own food business in Australia and moved to Singapore. And then it's been a 13-year journey making things happen so that every business can make an impact through what they are doing.
So for people listening who've never heard of B1G1 before, talk us through the mechanics. So you're a business owner and you want to make a positive difference, but you don't quite know how to do that in a manageable way. So how does your organization give people a platform to do that?
So just imagine a world where, let's say, every time you have a coffee, a child in need receives access to life-saving water, or every time you go to see a doctor, somebody receives access to healthcare, or every time you purchase a book or even ebook, a tree gets planted. So B1J1 works with businesses of all kinds and size, all different kind of size and journey as well, and then help them identify the way that they can embed giving in what they do. So accounting firm might say that every time we create a new client, we would help educate a child for a year, or we could have authors around the world actually planting trees for every book they sell or every speeches that they deliver. So B1J1 today has a giving platform filled with more than 500 projects from around the world that are carefully selected. And then all those giving activities are broken down to a micro unit. So instead of businesses trying to give thousands of dollars to build one well for a community, they could actually give even just 1 cent for every transaction or every business activity, and then said that 1 cent goes to give access to life-saving water to somebody in, let's say, Kenya or Ethiopia for 1 day. So B1J1 gives businesses the power to change lives by deciding what business activities that they want to link to effective giving. And then we also forward all of the giving, means fully 100% of business giving to the causes that they choose to support. And today we work with more than 2,500 businesses in so many different countries. And then we have more than 500 projects. And these giving activities are happening everywhere, every day, which makes it easy for businesses to create a real giving habit and then also share the positive outcomes with the clients, customers, and communities that they are in.
I think it's a great idea. I want to explore two things further with you, because as a very new member, one of the things that it took me a while to get my head round was, first of all, that you have all of these projects. How do you choose them? Where do they come from? Because I think for many people, one of their worries about giving is, will it get to the place where it's focused, or will it go into line somebody else's pocket along the way, or is it all going to go in administration? So how do you select the projects and make sure that those are working efficiently and effectively?
So first of all the projects that we have in B1G1 had to meet criteria that the board of B1G1 Giving set. And that involves for the charity organizations to have to meet a specific integrity criteria and effectiveness criteria, such as the percentage that goes to administration and so on. But at the same time, we would look at the worthy causes that have a tangible project that has been running for at least 3 to 5 years. So they have to have a certain track record and then also have to have a financial breakdown for their project activities as well. So when we work with them, we carefully identify what the project focus is that they have, and then what kind of impact that project actually achieves. And then we have a clear understanding of a project activity like financials. So we are able to then work with the organization to break down the cost of impact, such as, for example, if this NGO is focused on building wells in communities in certain area of the world, then they have the understanding of how much it costs for them to build one well, but also they have the statistics around how many people that well would benefit, as well as the period, length of how many years that well would last to deliver the impact for the community. So with that in mind, then we are able to actually break down the project cost into a micro unit. Such as month, every month it costs so much, and every week, and then every day, and then every person. So every project in B1J1 actually goes through this assessment before it gets listed. So when businesses give saying that every, let's say, email we send, or every ebook that people download, from us, then we would link that to, let's say, access to water or access to digital learning education to a child in a rural area in India or Cambodia. And then when they make the contributions, we can make sure 100% of what they give is sent to the project activities as well.
And I think the principle of breaking it down. So, because I think when people think about the idea, they think, oh, I've got to be a very successful business and I've got to be earning lots of money in order to be able to do this. But the way I understand it is that it's been broken down so you can make initially very small donations that are still going to make a difference while your business builds up to something financially more successful. And I think that makes it much more accessible. But I was talking to another B1G1 gentleman that I met through your recent conference, which was amazing, some fantastic speakers. And he was talking about how he is a member, but he encourages the people he works with to be members, and looks for creative ways to engage with clients and with suppliers so that they too engage in the process. And I wonder if you've got any examples of that you could share with us.
So in B1J1, we focus on 3 important things, because what's missing in the world is not necessarily about the ability that in the world to make those differences or solve problems. But what's missing in our world right now actually impact the habit and connection. So first of all, impact part, there is a lot of money going to charities around the world. There are so many different charity organizations in the world as well. But quite often, the conventional way of giving is really about the amount of donations, in dollar term, or it becomes so much about the, brand of the charity or presenting a big check on stage. So giving hasn't been based on the impact that we create in the world. So B1G1 already focus on the factor of impact and making every giving really tangible. So that's one. Second thing, which is actually equally or even more important, is actually habit. Because there are lots of campaigns that happen in the world, or when disaster happens, then there is a lot of donation that goes to help people who are affected by certain disasters that we
Yes.
come across. But the thing is, only way to really make a significant long-term and sustainable change is only achieved through changing our habit. So B1G1 makes it really easy for businesses to create a giving habit rather than doing a big thing once off.
Yeah.
And if it is about embedding small giving, which is easy to do because you don't need to try to give thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars immediately. But if businesses recognize that every day they are making something great happen, just by having conversations with other businesses and customers, or serving one customer at a time, every business has something that they are making happen every day.
Yeah.
So if we are able to make small impact happen, but every day through everything that we do, then together we really can make a huge difference too. And then the third thing is actually connection. Understanding that individually we may not be able to fix all the problems in the world, but really understanding the power of businesses in terms of the connection, the power of connections that we have together. This is really key to coming together to make that difference together. So in B1J1, even though giving that happens under each business could be relatively small, but when those businesses are doing day-to-day business, they are continuously influencing and connecting with other individuals and other businesses. So if they could also leverage on that connections and connectivity, then through that, if one business can inspire another business to become a giving business, or two more businesses to become giving businesses, then that viral effect and the leverage that we can create together is massive. So that's why
it's amazing, isn't it? And it's going to it exponentially explodes, doesn't it? It's a logarithmic mathematical thing that the more people that you connect to then connect you, that you can make a difference. It's really interesting for me in terms of the principles that I think enlightened leaders should embody, is that whatever you do should make a positive difference. And what's lovely is that you are giving businesses the opportunity to do this externally, where most businesses focus on doing it only internally. But I think there are huge benefits, not only for the leaders, but for the people that they work with, to recognize that moment by moment, they can make an impact on some of these things, which, world hunger, education, clean water, medicine, reforestation, those things seem too monumentally big for the individual. But you've offered people a conduit to be able to do this efficiently and effectively and know they're doing it in a safe way, which I just think is amazing. And I can only thank you for what you've done. And as I say, I'm a newbie and just getting involved and starting to think of different ways. And after the break, I'm going to be talking to people about my books. And one of the things that we will do is for every book what I'd like listeners to do is to vote and let me know, would they prefer it spent on education or on planting a tree or on clean water? Let's give them those three choices. So if you buy a book and you then email me at gina@genuinely-you, tell me how you would like your donation spent, and we will donate an amount from each book. And we're going to do lots more than that. But people listening to this show who perhaps don't have a business, this is an ideal way where you can make a difference and be involved. But if you do have a business, please go and look at B1G1 and join. So to bring it to a close, Masami, anything else that I haven't given you an opportunity to say that you want to say, and where can people find you?
I think, as an individual, I know how sometimes we feel, so small to make an impact.
Yeah.
And then also, if we look at all of the big issues in the world, it becomes very, very overwhelming. But I really believe in the power that businesses have to transform things. And that is actually evident in the kind of businesses that exist today in our world. So if we just look around, if you look around in your space right now, then you see all of these amazing things, like whether it's computer equipment or books or furniture or beautiful art, decoration and paintings and all of those things. And imagining all the amazing people who work in those businesses and the variety of it, then we realize that we actually come with such unique qualities and ideas and passion, imagination, ideas, creativity. So actually, this already exists in our world, which means that even though there are so many different kind of challenges in the world, if every business can make a positive impact in the world in the way that they believe in, then uniquely together, we will be able to come together to transform the ecosystem, the giving ecosystem in the world to tackle all of the problems. So I would love you to really realize that power you have for being you, uniquely being you, and that if you find a way to make a positive contribution in a unique way, and it's just a matter of reminding somebody else around you to do so, then together we really can change our world.
That's an incredibly powerful and important message. Thank you so much. We put the website address on the bottom of the website, and we'll put your details in the show notes. But if people desperately want to get hold of you, what's the best way to get hold of you?
Okay, so you can visit our website, b1j1.com. Or you could also reach out to me and find me on LinkedIn, Masami Sato. So then I'd love to connect with you and hear about what you are doing as well.
And please do say in the connection that you've met Masami on the show, so we get a sense of the impact that we're having. So thank you very much. I've no doubt we're going to chat again. It's been a delight to have you. I know it's very late evening there in Singapore, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Gina.
It's been a pleasure. After the break, we're going to talk about kindness and investment in you.
You have been listening to Gina Gardner on Leadership for Life. We'll be back after this quick break. Want to get the best out of life personally and professionally? Are you ready to step into a life which excites and fulfills you? Well, the right place for you is Leadership for Life with Gina Gardner on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. We will share with you stories from inspiring people, a wide range of guest experts, and lots of practical strategies to help you get the very best out of your personal and professional life. Leadership for Life is a radio and TV show focused on helping you live a happier, more successful, and fulfilling life. Join international best-selling author, motivational speaker, empowerment and transformational leadership coach and trainer, Gina Gardner, live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Become the leader of your own life. Gina Gardner's #1 international best-selling book, Thriving Not Surviving, The 5 Secret Pathways to Happiness, Success, and Fulfillment, provides you with the foundational principles on which to become the best leader of your own life. It's available as an ebook, paperback, hardback, and as an audio from genuinely-u.com, or also from Amazon. Every one of the principles have been proven to work for the countless people who have used them, including the author. Now, let's put them to work for you. If you're ready to discover your true leadership life design, accelerate your journey with an invitation to join Gina for Leadership for Life VIP Day. Choose your journey of self-discovery where Gina will help you navigate your way to happiness, success, and fulfillment. To find out more, email Gina at genuinely-u.com. Welcome back to Leadership for Life. Here is your host, Gina Gardner.
Hi, thanks for just listening. What an amazing lady, isn't she? To have that vision and to make that vision work. Now, we've got a very few minutes left on the show, and I want to talk to you about investing in you. Ultimately, you are with you every moment of every day, and you are someone who has the capacity to do so much if you choose to. Now, lots of you I know have been struggling financially, and one of the things I want to talk to you is about the range of activities, resources and so on, that there are various places that I've created just for you. And there are a lot that you can access for free. Please, please go to the Genuinely You YouTube channel and subscribe. There are well over 150 videos there that I've created for you. There are examples of Uncut with Gina and Sukdev that you can see coaching going on and actually get a sense of how it works, but also the different themes that are there are very common for people. And people who procrastinate, people who have been abused and find it hard to let go. All sorts of things there. There's lots of videos in terms of resources around, how to get the best out of your life. And they've been designed to help you. They are for free. You can go on to the Genuinely You Facebook group, become a member, and then you'll have access to posts and activities. And you can also email me through that, and I'll do my best to answer you, okay? There's lots and lots on the websites, the genuinely-you.com, the enlightenedleadership.com, ginagardner.com, all designed very specifically to help you be the best that you can be. But also I recognize that some people want some more help. And so there are books, lots of books on Amazon. And more recently, I've started to create workbooks where there's a principle that's shared and then a workbook or activity journal, intentional journal for you to be able to work through things yourself. And they're not expensive, less than $10, any of them. And there are different themes there, whether you are an enlightened leader, whether you're an empath, whether you'd like to publish your own book, maybe somebody you're not feeling very hopeful and you want some help with hope, lots of things there. So go and explore. Every paid book or activity, we will be donating an impact of one sort or another to B1G1. Haven't quite decided on the format, and I'd like your help. So please let me know through emailing me, gina@genuinely-you.com, or through the website or through the show notes, and let me know what you think is most important. Clean water, being fed, education, reforestation, medical. They're the 5 areas that I've identified. You help me decide which to focus on. And if we get a spread, then that's what we'll do. But if you're ready to step into being the leader in your own life and you want to accelerate the process, then I've created a number of VIP day and 2-day sessions to really focus on you. And if you're interested in that, then you'll find those on the website or just email me. There are longer programs for you, your personal spiritual development, or for leadership. There's something for everyone. What I'm urging you to do is, it's the beginning of the year. Make sure that you are a big part of your intention this year, which is to grow and to develop, because ultimately you choose whether you're the leader of your own life or whether you're going to let other people lead your life, because then you'll have a very different quality of life. So I want to hear from you. Please, please do email me, and we'd like to know if there are other themes you want on the show, but make sure that you let us know which of the 5 areas you'd like us to donate to. Thanks for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Please share it with other people, get other people to come and listen. But whatever you do, choose to step into being the leader of your own life. Step into your genuine power and be the leader of your own life. See you next time. Thanks for joining me.
You have been listening to The Leadership for Life with your host, Gina Gardner. Make sure you tune in to W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV next Thursday and every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for more Leadership for Life. If you missed any part of this episode or just want to hear or see it again, you can find the archive of the TV show on Talk 4 TV's YouTube channel and the podcast of The Leadership for Life on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, and wherever you listen to your podcast.